I'll read from here. Mr. Bamidele Adedugbe, certified management consultant and fellow of the Institute of Management Consultants, with a proven track record of helping organizations optimize with a proven record of helping organizations optimize operations through the strategic deployment of digital solutions. He is the managing partner and lead solution architect at Digital Market, a strategy consulting and digital solutions firm focused on enabling businesses across Africa and beyond to scale efficiently. His work sits at the intersection of business strategy, process optimization, and technology implementation, driven by a core philosophy. Business growth is built on well-structured systems, powered by the right technology. Bamidele is also a BCG certified lead author, building a structured, process-driven approach to every engagement, ensuring that systems are not only implemented but aligned with global standards and built for long-term efficiency. Over the years, he has led and supported transformation initiatives across multiple industries, including oil and gas industry, energy, oil and gas, energy, construction, telecommunication, tech, FMC, and consulting.
Can you try speaking louder, please? Can you try speaking louder? I can hear some echoes from your background.
So sorry about that.
It's okay.
Right now. His portfolio includes implementations and advisory work for organizations such as Nigerian Communications Satellite, Cyber One Broadband, Cameroon and Africa, Geo Foundations Limited, Offshore Diamond, Ground Scope, Widening, K. Allison, Elon, Winfield Consulting, Canada, Mitch and K. Hugo, Hicks and Co. Alongside several other organizations across North Africa. As an official Zoho consulting partner, Bamidele has designed and led the deployment of integrated systems that unifies tools, operations, finance, human resources, project management, customer experience, helping organizations transition from fragmented workflows to fully connected data-driven solutions. With an academic background in theology and a master's degree in petroleum technology, his transition into consulting and technology reflects a commitment to solving real-world business problems using structured processes and modern tools. Right over now, I will have our speaker for today on the call for the webinar we are about to have. So join me in welcome Mr. Bamidele. Over to you, sir. Hello, Mr. Bamidele. Are you there?
Hello. Thank you very much. To be honest, I was struggling to really hear. I just probably just in a way was able to pick that. So please, can we hear me? Hello.
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Yekemi. Thank you very much, everyone, for having me. Please, I would want us to let me just. I'm assuming that it's my time to, come up with my slide and do my thing, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much once again, and it's such a pleasure to be here among executive assistants. People who are intending to be executive assistants. I would try as much as possible to speak from my heart and my experience as well. All right. Thank you. I'll just share my screen. There's a whole lot of things that I have to touch on, speak, but I just have to just put them down into little snippets that I would speak on. Can we all confirm that we can see my screen?
Yes, sir, we can see your screen.
Yes.
All right. All right. So I'll once again thank you, Ikemi, for the introduction. Sometimes I wonder if I was the one that they were speaking of. My name is Bamidele Adedugbe, as you know. I'm a solutions architect, and I'm also the managing partner of Digital Masterpiece, as well as also a management consultant. Um, and our organization is a digital transformation company. We are Zoho consulting partners. In other words, as digital transformation experts, Zoho as a global brand, trust us to be able to design solutions to the operations of various organizations, cutting across SMEs, cutting across, large scales organizations. So these terminologies are not very serious terminologies. It just means that whatever you do in your day-to-day activities in the place you work, we're able to digitalize those things through digital tools. And Zoho happens to have built those kind of things together, those applications together. There's even a funny joke in Zoho that if there's no application that Zoho has created, then your organization probably doesn't need it, right? So that's why I'm just trying to so Zoho cuts across HR, human resource finance, operations, and so on. So I'll be talking on from assets assistance to assets, a couple of times. And because of the community I'm speaking to, I understand that, majority of us want to get a job, you know. There are a couple of reasons. I would love to know in the chat box. You can let me know why you decided to, why are you interested in being an executive assistant or a virtual assistant, or as the case may be. Why are you looking to get all these roles? Please, I would love that engagement. This would help me so that I will pick those things and begin to really, really make sense out of it. I can't really see the timer. So please, I would appreciate if that is up so that it will guide me in the things that I will be talking about. Thank you. All right. So mastering Zoho tools for the modern year. Executive assistant. Gone are the days when we just use spreadsheets and all the likes. Now, this is basically the first year where we see tax get hired. Most of the time, this is where everybody just wants to do. They feel that they are hired to, in that sense, just fulfill the task, help the executive with that activity or operations that they can outsource in that sense. So they feel like it's a tax that got them hired. Probably help me do that data entry, help me do this, help me do that. As the case may be for virtual roles. You know, being thorough, punctual, organized. That's the baseline. For everyone in that particular cluster. They feel that okay, just be thorough. Oh, I manage your data, I manage your meetings, I do this, I do that. So you are basically on the baseline. You are still an assistant, and that's the truth. But when you now begin to see value gets you to be promoted, you understand that at this stage, you know, you now begin to offer value. You're not making work is necessarily making work easier in that sense, or helping them to achieve some of their tasks as an executive. You are basically bringing value. There's a popular joke around, what do you bring to the table? You are able to show what you bring to the table. Now, I also outline the fact that systems make you indispensable. When the system that you build still runs, and I can attest to this because, you know, okay, all right, thank you. Give me a moment. Let me be sure that it's not the fan. Or how does this noise sound? Please just make me know.
All right. Sorry to break in. So it's more like, I don't know, maybe a sound, maybe a TV, just a
Okay,
little background. Yeah.
all right. Give me a moment, please. Okay, so sorry about that. There is a possibility. Okay, so that being said, let me just move to the next slide of what I have here. So as I said, I've been in this position before. I've been in this shoe. Yeah, the profile may have not done justice to my real story. Just a summary, right? I remember going through school, wanting to be, work in the oil and gas sector as a geologist. Yeah, I studied geology, even decided to go for advanced studies in petroleum geology because I really wanted to work in the oil and gas field. Who doesn't like oil money, right? Who doesn't like oil money? But I realized that I had a flair for solutions. In fact, I just wanted to always solve a problem and digital tools. So I realized that I loved websites, building websites, solutions, digital tools. I could master it. This you don't necessarily have to follow my path in that sense, but I'm just making you understand how I got into this and what transpired. I'm giving all this background story before I begin to get into the main technicalities. So and that's why I'm saying that I used to be just getting the tax done. But then in my former employment, while I was still working in paid employment, I was employed as a growth and digital strategist, right? When you see this kind of role, what comes to mind is, just run ads, do digital strategy, ensure that, the company is growing and doing a whole lot of things, right? So hired to do a job, doing the job well, right? That's the journey for me, and then an opportunity came within the organization. Now, I'm going to tell you the real story, and why I'm telling you these stories because it's going to form the fulcrum of where we are going to. Why how you can move from assistant to asset. Now, while doing the job as a digital strategist, I realized that their products were just arranged, just want to just sell, and these are not small projects. These are projects in tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of dollars, hundred thousands of dollars, and so on. Because they are for the oil and gas industry. So the products are just there. I decided to deep dive into those product category, master those things, categorize them, broke them down. Now, opportunity created itself that there was a meeting. All I needed to do was to present a digital strategy that we're going to use to sell that. But I took it a step further, creating a PowerPoint and a slide for our, foreign partners. Now, this positioned me before the MD. Mind you, it's not my job. I am to just focus on digital strategy. But I realized that there was something they were not doing. You know, it was just business as usual, just sales and marketing, show the numbers, and it was just there. This I decided to start solving a problem, right? Now, beyond my brief. And when there was an opening for a business development manager, oh, this guy, he just wants to solve a problem. So why I'm saying this is that you also have the right mindset. Now one may be saying tools are always all around you, and the problem is not necessarily just tools. The problem is that if you don't have the right mindset, you probably may not be able to see the opportunities in tools. If you don't have, because I have championed change management in various organizations, and I can tell you for free that tools that would even help the employees make their work easier, they would not want to accept it because sometimes human beings are so keen to change. They are so resistant to change. They don't want the way they've been doing it that makes their life easier, though it may be harder and take longer time. They are comfortable with it, or they are scared of failing by trying something new. In that sense. So there's a couple of reasons, but let me not go also with that. So that being said, I got that. Now I've got the opportunity to be in the position of a business development manager. Now, what else would I do? Will I just begin to chase out sales targets, do this, do that? Now, we've always had a CRM, and very interestingly, it was Zoho CRM. But the CRM was just used for creating invoices, creating quotes, and storing customer information. That was just all. But that's not what a CRM is all about. A CRM is more. So it was in that organization to have that information are stored in the cloud, and they can return back to it even when staffs leave that company. You don't need to now start searching and all those things. So those are part of the advantages of a CRM, but that's not you maximizing the CRM. Now I'm already speaking to CRM, but I'm not yet there. But you know, I had to now begin to look, take up courses, go to YouTube. How can we, would a business development manager do to be able to, bring insights, to be able to make insightful decisions within the company, be able to contribute even with the foreign partners? Because mind you, the company I work with is a Nigerian representative of an American brand, right? So what we now did was that I used the CRM, began to deep dive into every opportunities, began to log in into every opportunities, categorize it, show the opportunities we had, show the stages in which those things are. These are now advantages of CRM. Show the stages in which those things are. Now begin to show the reasons why they have not moved from this place to this stage. Let's say it's starting is what we call a sales pipeline. Starting from when you receive that inquiry to the point where it moves to you send a quote, to the point where there's probably discussions and negotiations around the quote and the price, to the point where there's maybe technical clarification. I need to be sure that this is the product that I really need, and the point whereby the client now probably goes to you or decides to pay, in those things. So you have to be able to align and put stages to those things. Now, I'm sure many of us here are probably assisting in sales and marketing as virtual assistant or executive assistant, assisting in the operations, but we've not been able to track those things in the pipelines. So they are pipelines. Now, in the digital world, they may call it funnels, right? To be able to say that, and we've moved them to this next stage in the funnel from brand awareness to those things are fantastic. But they are still the same thing. All right, so now and then, this now we began to do CRM meetings with our brand partners. Sometimes we realized that it could even be the pricing and we could get further discounts. This now made us always beat our target every year, and then I was promoted again. So I enjoyed very, very speedy progress and promotion because of this. Now, personal reason I had a leading to leave my place of work to start up my own brand. Now, I would always attribute my journey to my former place of work because that was where I was exposed to the tool. Now, mind you, I was not the only staff there. There were other staffs there who have even before me that tool was, and they were not using it. There was also a need for, when I was not the general manager, that let us create an hybrid working environment because everybody was coming to work every day, but there was traffic along that road. Now, this is why I'm saying solutions. you know, I'm like, there's traffic along this road. Telling on the employees. They get home by 12, we're in Lagos. So if you are any other, we're in Lagos. They're getting home late, they are tired, they have to also resume work the next day, and all those things. Let us build an hybrid system. Okay, so how are we going to build an hybrid system? And now deep dive into the same system that was within the organization called Zoho CRM. Now, in this situation, I now began to see how can we digitalize what we use paper to do. Your leave, your staff, your projects, your requisitions for money, for all those things, we digitalized it. I took this upon myself to do it. And where I'm going here, I will still show you some of those things. So please, I would appreciate that you just follow through, you know. And then I said that was how I left to start my own organization. Now, as I said, by the time I was leaving, my MD was ready to triple my salary. And this I'm very serious. So at this point, I was not just doing one job. I was taking the role of three people, handling it. But you ask yourself, how was I able to handle the role of three people? Automations, tools, right? So she realized that if Bamidele leaves, these systems that he has built, that he's able to manage, because mind you, my digital portfolio didn't end, right? Although I had other people now that I approved, but I was still doing it. How are you able to track your brand health, generate reports without having to manually do it? How are you able to do that? At this point, Bamdele, don't worry, I'm willing to triple your salary, but it was not because of the money that I was leaving. I had a mission where I was going to. So this brings me to another point. When you're taking up a role, what's your mission? What do you intend to gain from that place? Is it the salary? Because salary is usually not the first thing. What would you learn, or what's your mission? A couple of times people always feel like their employee is using them, but I would say that you probably are not wise enough to use your employer. You're probably not wise enough to use your employer. that place, I'm serious, employees should probably be paying their employers, and my employer is still, right now I consult for my former employer, right? We have a wonderful relationship. And she needs a particular thing. Bamidele, please, I need you to come and fix something for me. I need you to come and train my new staff. I need you to come and do this. I need you to come and do that. And I still go there to do that. So now I decided to put this here. The mindset that changes everything. There's the assistant mindset and there's the asset mindset. The assistant mindset is I'm doing everything they ask me to do. That's all. You're just there and you will continue to be an assistant. You'll continue to wonder why. But the asset mindset the person is he or she is looking at what problem can I solve that nobody asked me to do, right? You're looking for problems to solve within the place you are working. You're not comfortable with the way they said, like, can this thing be done in a shorter possible time? Can this thing be achieved in a better way? Oh, that's not my job description. You're still an assistant. You don't even have that ownership mindset. But the point is, how do I make my boss life easier than they imagined? At this point, how am I able to ensure that my boss is meeting up with our meetings, meeting up with our deadlines, meeting up with the projects in the organization, operational wise, things are functioning? How am I able to do that? As I said, the mindset is important. If you don't have the mindset, even the tools will fail. And I've seen it times and over again. Now, I just need to get through today's tasks. That's all you just see. But we're looking at what system can I build that would outlast? What systems? What systems? My employer is using me, as I said earlier, is the fact that I'm using this role to build my expertise. At every point. Now, today I can say that I understand systems in the oil and gas. Why? Because I invested myself in the place I used to work. I can be a consultant because I invested myself in the place I used to work. You know, Days ago, my former employer will still call me, Bamidele, I'm now I'm now an executive in this association of petroleum people. I would need you to come and do something. And this is how I get referrals, right? We don't burn bridges. That's another asset. I'm using this role to build my expertise. I was using my employer, and I'm saying it, right? You see, this thing cannot be done. And don't worry, I will do it. I want to do why I want to do it is because I want to make the mistake for free. Let me not try it with my own. Let me build now. I'm very conscious not to make mistakes. You don't want to lose your trust back. That's another thing. I'll wait to be promoted. No, see, promotion basically, right, is when you are offering value. Your employee will see that this is the logical step. This person will definitely make it happen. This is the person that will move my system, my operations, my business to the next level because of the way that you have that mindset in you. I don't know if you understand me. All right, so having addressed the mindset, let's get into the tools, right? Before I move on, do we have any questions around that? Somebody might say, I don't agree with what you just said. My mindset, my boss is a very are we following? Let me check if I can see what's the why people joined their present role so that I can read that. Okay. Certainly. Okay. All right. So nobody's interested in showing me. All right. I'll just move on. Okay. Thank you. All right. So let's get into the tools. Now, Zoho is an enterprise resource planning system. Enterprise resource planning system meaning that, so as you can see, look at all the applications. So don't think that Zoho is one application. Zoho is a brand, just the way you have Microsoft. There's Microsoft Excel, there's Microsoft PowerPoint, Microsoft Word, there's Microsoft. Is Microsoft? Have you heard of Access? Microsoft, all sort of things. There's Microsoft Dynamics 365. All those applications that people use in the banks, finance, all those things. Microsoft basically is a company. So this is where you have Zoho. Now Zoho has over 55, but more than 55 applications cutting across various areas or various departments and operations within an organization. So as you can see here, you have Creator, which is a low-code application builder. It also have an AI, You have your flow, which is for automations. I will take us into that because that's something that you would probably need to use when you're doing some, application integrations and all. You have RPAs, which are something that you create a robot, you train a robot to be able to do the repeated tasks in which you do. This is actually not for EA, to be very honest with you. These are for banks. These are for large organizations, but I'm just showing you that these are things that can be done. These are contracts you can create. So maybe your organization or the person you work with is a legal company, and you need to always send, you want to have your templates ready and their names. Just let it just pick the names from your various places and send those contracts. You have this to be able to track a legal contract from start to finish. You're having analytics, which is business intelligence. It's able to be able to. I wish for time I will open some of these applications so that we see the interface, we see how it is, the possibilities within them. Let me just go to sales, which is very important. I can tell you that if you're able to crack what we call CRM, you'll be a valuable asset. If you're able to crack what we call the productivity tools. The productivity tools would be bookings, which is equivalent to like Calendly. It's just send a link. Somebody wants your executive. You don't want people to just be badging into and you want to be able to track the meetings of your executive. You can just use bookings, track all the various appointments, and sync that particular thing with their calendar, so that once it is there, you just send a link. It can even be in the footer of their emails. And I use that a lot, to be able to manage my implementations, my consultations, so that clients are not jumping into me, and avoiding taking my own calendar to block some meetings. I have other engagements elsewhere, so I block my meetings. Now, at those times, my bookings will read my calendar and see that I'm not available. So it will only show you the times at which I'm available. So it's wise for me to fill my calendar with things that I will be doing at that time. Even if it is as bad as personal time with my wife, even if it's a time as me, church activities, it has to always be in my calendar so that I'm able to be productive, and I'm not going to be disappointing people that you have meetings with. You have marketing automations where you're able to create a customer journey. I'm sure some of the people that we work for have e-commerce websites, and they're looking for e-commerce assistants, and they're looking what can be the game changer. And the problem is that people are probably abandoning their cart. A couple of things could have resulted in why people abandon their cart, but this, you can create a customer journey around all those things. Trust me, I don't even know how to go out and address all this at once, but know that this is what we do. We listen to the challenge within the organization. We design solutions around this for organizations. You have your human resource, you're able to track all that. Now, for projects, but let me just leave all that and go to the next. Yes, so I picked out a couple, screenshots, and then I'll open the live so that it just help us. Let me not bore us with all the Zoho. Now, one of the things I know that the right mindset needs the right tools, which I said, right? And one of the things is Zoho calendar. So you can see how this is mapping all my calendars into one space. It syncs your schedule. It gives you smart reminders. You can set the reminders 1 day before the event, 15 minutes before the event, this before the event, so that even you yourself, let's assume your MD is saying, please remind me to take my medication, or remind me to book my flight. And the person wonders, how is this person so sharp and punctual? Because from your mobile phone, okay, yes, let me stylishly answer that question. Every Zoho application has a mobile application. Every Zoho application has a mobile application that you can download. Every. So that makes it easy for you to, So I have Zoho calendar on my phone. I have Zoho bookings. I have all the applications in which I use. I don't necessarily have to have all the applications that I have access to, but the basic applications I use, like calendar, bookings, my finance, to be able to quickly create invoices and all on the run, so that I am not, waiting till I open my laptop and do all the things that I need to do. So now this is where Zoho comes in, not as a software, but as your operating system for becoming indispensable. As I said, you are able to set reminders and keep your executive like, I remember when Kenny is my assistant. I miss Kenny. She just helps me to remember that this thing is happening, right? All right, so let me go to the next application, which is Zoho Bookings. I've talked about this. This is where you are You are managing your appointments and syncing into your calendar. So you can see that between this time to this time on this day, this is what you have, this is what you have, you've completed it, it's still in, you can have all those things and create your services. So let me just move to the next. The next is project. You are able to track every project, create them within the system, say what the completion is. Now, you can also set automated reminders within this project. Sync it with your calendars. You can add tasks that you want to do within the system as well, and you can set the priority. Now, there can be also reminders to say, you are 3 days to the end of this project. You are 2 days to the end of this task. You are this to the end of that particular task. Now, you have all this in there. You can create a project kickoff. Maybe you all want to create an event for something. You are planning for an event. You are planning for a book launch. You are planning for your course. Maybe you are managing an executive that sells online courses. You can schedule all the activities that you want to do, manage all the teams, assign it to the team members. As you can see here, assign it to the team members, set dates and deadlines. We use this to manage our projects as well, and then Zoho Work Drive. Let's assume you are gathering information, documents from clients or stakeholders. You can always generate a link. You can always sync this with your desktop computer, so that whatever you are working on your system is syncing with it. Now, this drive can be synced. So the beautiful thing about Zoho is that every of the applications are integratable, right? It all depends on how you would imagine it, right? So imagine that calendar can exist on its own, bookings can exist on its own. However, if you want that your bookings, your calendar, sorry, your booking application is looking into your calendar to tell you if you are available, that's an integration, right? If you want that, what's the word? Your CRM is looking into your calendar to tell you when you're available to go and visit a client. That's another integration, right? So those are just some applications in which it's just thinking it through. You have to have that mindset of solving a problem. Solving a problem. Would it not be possible if this can be connected to this so that this I can get this information? Now, this is the interface of a CRM, right? As I said, you are tracking every contact, follow up, relationship that matters. As you can see, these are the deals. Oh, we are at qualification stage. This is the cost of that money. This is the closing date of this deal. What can we do? You can set all those things, and I'll just take us in, and I'll show us how other organizations have been managing that. Now, this is Zoho Click. Zoho Click is I don't know any of us have heard of Slack. Is anybody here that has heard of Slack? Anyways, instead of you having fragmented WhatsApp chains, you can just create channels. Those conversations are still flowing. Oh, thank you for the feedback. Yes, so those conversations are still flowing, right? Wow, we have a very exposed community here. That's good. All right, I see that. So you are having that within the system, Um, sorry, I want to just be sure that I saw something. Let me read down. Okay, all right. Thank you very much. So Slack, now within Slack, you can schedule meetings. So the way now let me give an example. I believe you have a community, SOREXINE community, maybe a WhatsApp channel, a Telegram group. Now, that's not efficient for a workplace, I'll tell you. It's not efficient. Now, if you were going to be using Slack, Slack is your organization's thing. You can have departments, as you can see. You can have topics within the departments so that you're not missing all those things. You are having those topics. You can reach out to your boss. You can schedule a meeting in that conversation. You can take notes in that conversation. I'm going to just probably share my screen to show you how powerful it is. This is a game changer. If you are managing and you're telling your boss that this is the way we can track. You can even sync this with project management. That you want to discuss a tax and have a conversation around it. Oh, the parties who are supposed to do some things around it are doing what they're supposed to. So I can't even exhaust Click, right? The truth is I can't exhaust all the applications, but it's just a whole lot, right? And sorry. All right. So, and Zoho Flow. This is, some of us may have probably seen N10, Zapier, and all the likes, right? So this is you're connecting other applications. You probably may not be even using Zoho applications. You may be using other third-party tools. As you can see, for example, Slack, Google Drive, Asana, Shopify, WooCommerce. You want to connect it and take actions on those applications. You will say, how are you able to do that particular thing? You are not see, and I will still get into the point that there are opportunities available within this niche. Foreign opportunities within this niche. I was looking to open Upwork profile, my Upwork profile for you to see, to show you, I'll just search Zoho alone and you see jobs that are available that you can begin to build, and I can also share some tips on how, you can stand out to get some jobs on Zoho. So, but on Zoho on Upwork as well. All right. So Zoho Flow now, and which is why I'm not saying so. Your skills are an income stream waiting to happen, right? And that's what I'm trying to get to you. Now, this is within your organization. Apologies, I didn't edit this pros and cons, but this is within, if you're working within an organization, and this is if you were probably, the opportunities outside if you are not working in an organization. All right. So now you are able to build systems that justify a pay review. So when it comes to performance review, performance management review, what's this person's contribution? It's justifiable. Okpehemi was outstanding. Ifeoluwa was outstanding. What she did, all those our manual one move here, call that person, I've sent it to check, this, that. Let me give you a very funny program. I used a funny situation. I used to have my I would always reference it to a lot of things because there are solutions that I was able to solve. Right. My MD would always say, I did not see, you'll call her and say, I'll send her a message and ma, please approve the payment for something. She'll say, I didn't see it. You say, ma, we need money to do something. You say, I didn't see it. Right? Okay, so we knew what to do. What we did was that Zoho has an application called Zoho Expense. I set the approval workflow. Ideally, within the organization, we're using paper. You write it go to the HR will look at it, approve if it is good to go. From the HR, it will go to the manager, my debt, or if I wasn't debt promoted, manager will look at it, it will be approved. Then I'll finally call or email the MD that, there's this payment. Then the MD will now look at it. She may be busy. She may just probably not have it, and then she ignores it, And after eventually it may get missing, or it may just slip through. And then we're feeling, I did not see it. So there's a whole lot of back and forth. I didn't like that. So I had to digitalize that process, expense. So Zoho Expense, you set the approval flow. Once you look at it, click on approve, it goes to the next person. It will give you a notification. You have a listen to approve. You will see it. It will notify you. You will get an email notification. They pop up on your screen. You will get all those things so that you see it. So, and everybody knows who is holding back that requisition. That's an example, right? If at the end of the day, if the MD cannot say it's not me, I didn't see it though, because everybody will see that it's on our decks. You are able to see that. So you approve that. And once you approve, the finance person, even if your boss is outside the country. So another reason was because my MD was always outside the country. All right. So that being said, now pitch for an operations or system role. You can decide to want to go into a business process or business process re-engineering role. There's a whole lot of roles that can, a business analyst role, or you can become the go-to person for digital workflows. Everybody's reaching out to you because this person needs to solve that. This person knows how to solve that particular problem. And within this thing, you can get freelance VA with Zoho specialization, which I said, if you check on Upwork, you can go on Upwork for any of us that are exposed to Upwork or anything, just type Zoho alone, and you see jobs, openings that are looking for openings with that. You can get Zoho setup and implementations for SMEs. There are these roles, right? They don't want to pay agencies like us, so they want to outsource these things to you to be able to solve that. And you can also be the one to train other EAs, make a living from it because you've mastered Zoho too, right? Have a cohort to cohort, training, and then you can also consult for business going digital. These are ways that you can do that. Now, if any of us are looking to solve this. So I think I'll just probably go to the system. Let me just go to the system. Let me stop sharing this. So before I go, do we have any questions before I begin to? So let me just take questions. This is the end of my slide. So, but do we have any questions so that I can now go into the live applications? Or I should go into the questions that was asked. Oh, okay. I see a hand. All right. Thank you. Yes, please. Can the person go ahead?
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, ma.
I wanted to ask that the the Zoho app, you mentioned that it has a mobile app, I think.
Yes.
Does it, I understand that it tries to put every different process into one, like into one space.
Okay.
Does it alert, for example, now if I want an approval from my boss who isn't who rather than do paperwork, we digitalize it, yeah? We need alert her because even some of these boys they will tell you that, oh, I didn't check my phone. We need send them an alert to say there is something that is pending to be signed. That's the question I have.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for that question, and thank you very much. So yes, so which brings us to the automations within the applications, right? You can you can trigger more notifications. So this is now I'm going into the automations now. If ideally, if she has the mobile application, she would have a the way you have these in-app notifications, right? You would have it on your applications, sound. You would have an email notification. At least you will check her email. Now, if you want to now extend it, that you want to now trigger reminders. So if you notice that you can set a rule that if that action has not been made on an approval process, send a reminder. You can trigger that reminders as many times as you want to do, you want to trigger. So that's something that can be done. Let me open something here so that I can just show you a live. So I believe that the question you are asking is speaking to expense. Let's say an approval for payment or an approval or an approval for what? If you can give a definite example. To the person that asked, I don't know. Hello, can we hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you, sir.
Yes. So I'm asking that, is this like an expense? Like, is this a finance department? Is it like a project management department? Is it sales approval? What kind of approval? If so that I may probably just quickly run an example for us to see.
It's like a project manager. For example, if there's a task to complete a report and she needs to look at it again, you understand, ensure that she's like the final say of we have a report that is prepared and she wants to just look at it to ensure that it is well done and just glance through and ensure that, oh, all the T's are crossed and all of that.
Yeah.
But she will not check her phone. You understand? I would have sent it. So she will not check her phone.
So, but
Maybe
at
get
least
to exhaust.
she will check her emails, right?
She checks her emails. She checks her, in fact, I wish that Zoho can be something that it just pops up like a WhatsApp message because even to check email sometimes it becomes difficult. So if it pops up like when there's a pop-up notification, so she can
Yes.
see that, oh, somebody's trying to call me here. Then she will now take it
Yes.
serious. Like, this thing is coming to.
Okay, so that actually exists within the system. So if you're having a mobile application, it will pop up. Now, another thing which I want to also mention is that in terms of what's it called? in terms of reports, you can be rest assured that if you put in the right things in terms of the work you are doing, you can always you can save yourself the time of even creating reports, right? After all, report is generated from something, from a field, from so you can create that report template and you can generate that report to be sending to your boss. So um, I've designed a solution for an engineering company that the MD would always want to see the stock of building materials left in the inventory, right? You know, all the person needs to do, the store manager, is to just ensure that he keeps an accurate figure of what it is. At the end of the week, at so and so time, we have scheduled the report, and it's a very straightforward thing to do. Schedule the report to go to the MD's email or any other email you want to send it to. Go to that person and let the person be able to see it. At that particular point in time, he was like, man, you have made my life easy. Oh. Instead of me to come and start typing into Excel sheet, I will just be using this your application and be entering I will just ensure that as I'm receiving the order daily, I am recording it. As they are taking the order, I am recording it. And the report generation is seamless, right? This is for Zoho inventory. Remember, I said there's a lot of applications. If we can give us, specific things to be able to do, specific um, examples, I can always just quickly run us through it. Let me share my screen. So I have a field where I've opened a couple of Zoho applications to just show us. This is a demo. Sorry. Share. All right. So first off, this is how Zoho Books looks like. These are consultations. Please confirm that you can see my screen. All right, so I have Zoho training. Let me just take the application one after the other. I have Zoho training prepaid, project kickoff, progress meeting. Maybe I have a progress meeting with a client, or they want to I send them the link, they schedule. I have a Zoho support prepaid. I have initial consultation and process audit. Maybe I want to audit a company, and they say, when will you be available? I don't need to be saying all these things to you. Just send you this link and you get it. So now let me open this up so that we see what this is. So you see you available and limit your scheduling rules, your notification. You may want to have what's it called? Please, moderator, please can you tell me how many minutes I have left? I think I've exhausted my time so that I quickly answer the questions I need to answer. You may want to schedule notifications, email notifications, SMS notifications, even WhatsApp notifications. If you integrate WhatsApp into this, that is reminding those people if an event has been booked, if it has been rescheduled, if it has been cancelled, if it has been completed, or the person did not show up at all. So if somebody is not showing up for the event, you can do that. If you also, that's one. Now, this is how calendar is. I have my times that I've blocked out. Let me just go into this. All right, so now for this, you can also record your screen within this drive and it will save. You can record your video, you can record an audio and it will store here. You can send let me this way. You may want to send a link to somebody to be able to upload the file. What you just need to do is to just do that, and you're up to and you're good to go. I hope I'm not too fast. I'm rushing because I see my time is fast spent. You're trying to manage some projects. Let me. So you want to create an automation in this project. So notify owner on tax assignment. These are some notifications that are there. Notify the follower of the tax assignment. Remind the tax owners on their tax assignment. You have that then. Then assign tax to project owner. If you're not satisfied with this, you can just create something here manually. This is not difficult. Don't let it scare you, right? It's a very simple thing. The when, this is just naming the name, the automation you want to name, describing what it is. You may not necessarily describe. Now, when should this automation take place? That's just what it is. English, right? Let's not look at it that some of us are getting scared. Is it based on a user action or based on a date and time? So meaning based on a date and time would be that, okay, at a particular maybe end of the week, send this particular thing to that person in your project management. Or if somebody makes an adjustment on the project tax, or somebody says it has been done or something like that, it's based on a user action, or somebody comment, notify. That's what it is. So we do based on user action. When a tax is created, no, is it when a tax is updated? Is it when it's commented on? Is it when it's trashed? Is it when a document is attached? Notify. So these are things. If it's updated, which of the field, if it's updated, is it the owner, the status? So if I put on the status, if I change the status to done, it will notify. Is it when the start date is changed? Is it when the due date is changed? Is it when the duration has changed? Is it when the priority is now high or low or this? Is it when the completion percentage is at 30%? Notify me. Is it when it's at 50%? So I'm trying to explain all this quickly, what I will show. Now, if we've assigned the tax, if we've changed the billing, this is just showing that if you make any changes to these things in the project field, activate that. But let me just pick one for the sake of, so you can add multiple. So now if I click on add row, right? So it is also, you can just list it. These are the conditions that would set if that is done. Now, what's the condition? If there's no condition, we move to the next, right? We move to the next, and then let's add our action. So what would the action be? Update field, associate a webhook, associate an email alert. So I believe this email alert. This one's is for we the technical people. It is you want to probably pull the data from another third-party application or another place, and this is you writing a script. So Zoho is fantastic, so not to buzz, but let's stick to the simple things, which is around associating an email. So you probably may want to create an email, so let me just leave that here. Now, this is how click looks like. Let me put this here. All right. This is what click looks like. Let me go into one of the channels so that we just see. So okay, let me do this. Sorry. So, sorry, come on. So I'm trying to use a demo account now. So you can see you can send an attachment to your colleague. You can send a voice message. These days, you are able to have your conversations in here. Please just confirm I'm not seeing my screen. I know my time is already fast spent. You can dial your colleague from here. I can tell you that within an organization that we implemented for, this is what they use for communication. WhatsApp is out of that organization, and the reason is because of WhatsApp cannot be tracked. You cannot say, oh, I sent this to this client and this colleague. I emailed or I sent that person this particular command. This is within an organization, right? You can send that, do your normal WhatsApp that you want to do, have your conversations. You can also schedule your meetings. Say, I can schedule a meeting with this person and invite other people, set the reminders for the person. I can, there are a lot of things. And for the remote work, now, if you have logged in your office, you can just click that, yes, you have logged. We can set this to be automatic that once you come in here, you are active. So there's a whole lot of things. I think I'll just probably stop here to quickly answer questions. I just hope that with this little point of mine, I've been able to convince us and not confuse us. All right. Thank you very much to everyone. I'll be expecting questions.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bamidele, for that insightful session. So we have some questions for you already in the chat box, and I will be reading them to you. So first question goes thus: Zoho really ate this with innovation. It basically put everything that one needs in one multiple apps. I'm sorry, I'm coming. Okay, I'm coming. I think more messages as a minute, please.
I think I see, please, all these packages on Zoho, is it a paid tool? I think I see one.
Okay, yeah. He said, can Zoho also be used to automate responses on IG?
Yes. So I did not probably treat that. So yes, Zoho can be used to automate responses on IG. In fact, I usually advise organizations, SMEs, not to give their social media logins to employees. Cybersecurity wise, governance policies, it's not even wise. I don't advise. Now, as I said, I'm a management consultant, right? And we believe in business continuity. Not saying this to make anybody feel bad, but if you have a disgruntled employee, tomorrow maybe he was offended by the way the boss talked to him, you know what you can do to your social media space. You can delete everything, you can do anything that he wants to do. So there's tools called Zoho Social. For automating of responses, you have what we call Zoho Sales IQ. Sales IQ. Sales IQ. Now, one of the things that I would advise is research Zoho. Begin to go in. You can download their free trials. They are likely to do it free. Most of the applications have free versions, right? If you need me to give you like 30 days trial links, I can always send that to us. But it's just that I don't even know. There's a whole lot of Zoho applications. How many do I want to send? So, but you can always just, check online, test the application, see how they'll be useful, um, to your operations. Now, for the part, please, all these packages on Zoho, is it a paid tool? Yes, it's a paid. Well, Zoho is in business to make money, right? And also to solve problem. But they have free versions. Free versions, for example, project management. I'm sure if you don't really have much project, you can deal with the free version. Sales IQ, you can deal with the free version. It's just when you're now trying to make it so complex, you probably have to pay. Zoho, in fact, Zoho Mail. I didn't go into Zoho Mail. Very powerful mail. It beats, and I'll say it with my full chest. It beats Google Mail. I'll say it. Now, because of the applications that is packed into it, I didn't even just go in there. You are able to have tags, sticky notes to be able to set reminders. You are able to set reminders within your mails. You're able to have all those things. Because of time, maybe I'll have another time, some time to probably treat one of these applications and exhaust it. All right. Thank you.
Another question. Someone is asking, is this a paid tool?
Yes, I have responded to that. I said I said it's a, there are free versions, but it's also a paid tool.
So another question is, if I decide to get Zoho, will I get all these packages in one?
So if that's what you would want to get, there's a package called Zoho One. It's all in one, Zoho One. So, and that's the picture that I showed. So, Zoho One, my screen is not sharing, but Zoho One would give you over 55 plus applications all in it, but it's about, let's leave that. So, but you have but it's more economical for your organization than purchasing the applications one by one, one by one. Most of the time, that all in one is used by organizations. I've had foreign clients that we manage their digital operations, and it was Zoho that we got into. So, you're having US clients that are saying, "Oh, I want to, set up Zoho for my business," and they are entrepreneurs, solo businesses. So we set it up, did the automations for them, and all those things. So, thank you.
Okay, sir. So another question is this. I love this webinar. I love Zoho. How do I learn my way around Zoho to learn and be able to use this efficiently?
Yes. Now, which brings me, see, I'll tell you this. There are free resources all over the internet. It's just because you've not just wanted to learn. I personally, I personally learned Zoho, you know, by trying and by watching on YouTube. So I'm letting you know. So I love to prepare for war in time of peace. So it's interesting to know that some of my spare time, what I just do is I'm just researching what other thing can this application do, so that when a problem comes up, I'm able to know the response to it. I'm able to know how to do it to solve it. So there are videos on YouTube. Zoho has free resources. I'm sure if you go to YouTube, if you search for any of those applications, you go to Zoho CRM, you will see videos on it in YouTube. Zoho CRM, you will see what you can use this to do, what you can use that to do. You will see how to do it. If you want to go further, into more technical things, I would advise that, for you to learn is for you to continue trying and continue doing. Um, if you want to now get more specialized training, you can contact us. We could see how we could schedule a training for you on that.
Okay, sir, thank you so much. So we have another question now. The person says, sir, in my organization, we're in logistics services, and I've been using Zoho basically for only invoice and expenses. But with all you explain, how best can we use all these packages you have mentioned?
Okay. So um, as I said, is the mindset, right? if and I appreciate that you are looking to use Zoho for all these things that you have mentioned. Um, if you are looking at a logistics company, you know, how are you tracking your customers? What are the things that you're doing? Are you trying to activate your CRM? You know, are you taking advantage of CRM? CRM can be connected to your books. CRM can be connected to your books to say that, oh, from this client, we're having prospecting. Maybe the sales and marketing team are talking and they are moving already. At the point of payment is when the books now receives, the fact that, oh, that payment has been made. It reconciles with that client that you guys were prospecting. Pardon me, I'm trying to just say everything quickly in quick in quick seconds. You have expense, so that everything. Let's say you purchase something with your money as someone, or you have other staff or employees who probably purchased something on the road and they want to request for reimbursement. But you don't want to give them access to your Zoho books. Zoho books is the finance module. But expense is for people, you're able to track their mileage, you're able to track their purchase orders. Maybe they want to request for money from you, you want it to go through an approval process, as I said. If you also want to do reimbursements, maybe somebody purchased something with his money, you want them to scan the receipt, and all these things for your logistic company. As I said, every application is a mobile. Is a mobile application. I use the mobile application. If you tell me now, send I need to send an invoice for something, 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 and I'm not with my laptop. Trust me, I'll send it to. My phone is with me. I would create the invoice immediately and send it. In fact, the client was asking me, "How did you send invoice to me in just less than 2 minutes?" I'm like, "I'm a business person, man. The invoice, my application is on my phone, right? So it's just what it is." And this person can see me personally. I can audit their processes, see what they do, and I'm able to recommend, the best thing. Because to be honest, you can't do requirements gathering from just a question like this. You know, yeah.
All right, sir, thank you. Someone already asked earlier, can they connect with you on LinkedIn? What's your LinkedIn?
Oh, my, you just said Bamidele Adedugbe. You should see. I think there's only one Bamidele Adedugbe in this world.
Oh, so I have a question already, but not in the chat box. For an EA looking to transition from administrative support to a strategic asset, which specific Zoho tool offers the biggest quick win in terms of improving executive visibility and decision making?
I would say I would not advise you. I can't really even point to. I can't point to any Zoho application, and there's a reason why I would say that. What I would just advise is that be big on data, be big on analytics, be big on that. So now, one of the things that has made me stand out is the fact that I don't just look at dashboards. So when you are speaking, you are able to prepare dashboards for an executive and is able to see. Now, Zoho CRM has analytics. Zoho Sales IQ that you were looking to have automated responses for IG and all those things, they have analytics. Zoho Socials for putting all your social medias in one space, they have analytics. But what now makes you stand out is the fact that you're able to make sense of that analytics to your executive. At that particular point in time, that person begins to see you as, as somebody that, what's the word? As somebody that really, really, really knows what the problem and the issues are. So, for example, I look at you may be looking at social media your Instagram analytics, and I'm looking at it and I'm saying, ah, why are people responding on videos more than this? That's a question. What happened that this picture is getting more engagement? You are querying the data. Now, Zoho tools, all Zoho tools have analytics. So I cannot really tell you that, but I would just say be big on analytics. There's Zoho Analytics, which is a business intelligence tool that you can pull data from all your applications and create dashboards, high level dashboards. But if you just need data around the basic things that you do, they all have, or be able to interpret it, be able to make sense of it. I'm looking at sales IQ and I'm saying, why is our average response time this high or this low? Why are we not responding faster? What's the problem? You know, let us create automated responses. Let's create a chatbot, because some people may be bombarding us with and yes, Zoho, you can create a chatbot in Zoho. Let me just add that. So there's a whole lot of things, but data is life. Data is what makes you stand out. Well, interpretation of data is what makes you stand out. All right, thank you. I think some questions were sent to me. I have those answers documented, but maybe I can just.
Okay, you can just take one or two from what you have, sir.
Okay, so I've answered to, can Zoho be operated fully on a smartphone? That has been answered. How do I get reminders, calendars, tasks, checklists working together? It's basically integration. All these applications are easily integratable. Zoho Calendar can be connected to your Zoho projects without even a third-party application. It's just to go to integrations at the settings, choose the specific Zoho application you want to connect it to. It will require access from you, and you connect that. So that's straightforward. Now, how can Zoho reduce errors in manifest collections and BL creation? So reduce errors in manifest. This is speaking to finance. Manifest connection. Okay. So do you receive the documents of these things? Um, I'm not quite sure. Whoever asked that question should please probably try to just explain better to me. But I know that Zoho Work Drive can help you to eliminate, those documentation errors, that you are storing them in specific folders. So that one document in it, this is coming from this person is going to that specific folder. You can also use click to be able to eliminate, all those messages and all this. But if you can give me some more context, I'll probably help you out with that. And somebody is asking, how can I monetize my Zoho knowledge? Just keep learning and keep doing, right? Just keep taking up, be willing to help people. What landed me my first gig was because I went to train for free, right? In a company. It's just I love solutions. Letting them see these things. You are training people on how they can improve their processes, looking at it, getting into it. In your place of work, you are not turning down responsibility. You're not saying, please, I have other things in my life to do. As I said, if there's anything you should take home, use your employee. Your employee is not using you. Use them, use their business to learn. That's the best way. Just like the church, you see the musicians today, the producers today, where would they have gotten the best place to use? It's because they were in church playing instruments, doing this and doing that. So keep doing. Let us call somebody. I can try it though if you don't mind. I can attempt it though if you don't mind. All right, thank you very much. I think I've spent so much time. I don't know if there's still
Thank
questions.
you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Bamidele, for that insightful and impactful session. We are so privileged to have you with us this evening. Thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure.
So, as we wrap up this evening, we'd love for every participant to actually connect with us. And as our speaker already said, you can connect with him on LinkedIn if you have any other questions or anything that you want him to shed more light on LinkedIn. He said Bamidele Adedugbe. So you can just check and you see it there. So for us, you can just connect with us on our Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all our social media, and just drop on the chat box right now for you to follow us. I think Okay. For our speaker's LinkedIn has been dropped on the page, so you can do it to connect with him already. And also for us, our social media handles will be dropped shortly, so you can do it to follow us too. Thank you.